Ever since Pluto has been in Aquarius, AI has been all over the place. It's been in newsreels, it's been in comedy shows, it's been in guest speakers, it's been in churches. Basically, so many places. And it is a rampant issue today. There's a lot of negatives to it. There's also a lot of positives to it that I want to discuss. I want to discuss in this video, the true meaning of AI, but I want to talk about Pluto and Aquarius, because Pluto and Aquarius, as an astrologer that I was watching referred to, is quote unquote the AI transit. And I thought AI is something so specific, but really it's something so broad. And so I agree, it is the AI transit. And over the next 20 years from Pluto's in Aquarius, imagine all the AI technology that'll be coming out. Aquarius is technology, Pluto is transformation, and it is the transformation and destruction and digging up the dirt and, of technology. And digging up what is wrong, what doesn't serve you anymore, what is unethical, and, basically destroying it and transforming it. And I have an example that I'm going to get into, but first of all, I just want to say, I'm tired today. I spent a lot of the afternoon editing a video which will premiere on my channel. This is an instant premiere video. This is just a very informal video that I think is very, very important. I just want to get this whole AI thing out of my life, but I think it's very important to address what it is and about it. And tomorrow when I wake up, I just don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, I'm sick and tired of talking about it, because I went on and on about it. And this should be the last video on my channel. I'm hoping that there won't be more, but so I just want to get this out to you. I want to really go in depth on the meaning of AI and some of the history behind it and some of the benefits and negatives. And actually, when I was, because I did research this information because I wanted to give you the facts. I found it very educational, and some things about AI I never thought of before. Like, I didn't know that that was the case. That I didn't know about. So I'm going to be sharing those in this video or in this podcast. I should acknowledge that this is the vastness of Google Podcasts, which is not something that I acknowledged in the first episode, that this is a podcast that I have launched on YouTube, and this is the second episode, of which this is an extra bonus episode that I didn't want to do it on Sunday because I have many other topics that I want to talk about, and I don't want to keep talking on AI, so I just thought I'm just going to do this and get this out to you. But this should be a good podcast, hopefully. You can listen to this or view this, and then sometime, maybe someday, this podcast will be on Spotify. Maybe. Maybe that could happen. That would be great if it could happen. But for right now, I don't have the skills to put it on there. I don't think it's credible to put on there. And yeah, so for several reasons, I'm not going to do that. I want to summarize the video that's going to be premiering tonight at 7 o'clock. It is about something related to AI. And I'm going to summarize it because I go in depth on it in that video. Basically, YouTube has an AI feature for shorts. It gives you options for creating songs, videos, all this stuff. And the bare bones of it is that it's unethical. Well, it's on the edge of being unethical. It is not only that, but it is maybe illegal somewhat, or it is unethical, on the edge of being illegal. It can also be very addictive and life-consuming. Once you start, you can't stop. And so for several reasons that I go into specifically, I discuss that. But that is the kind of, it's too good to be true. That's the other thing. Like, that's the kind of transformation of technology that that I'm talking about, because that's Pluto, the destruction of technology, digging up the dirt and the secrets, and I think that that is the dirt. Like, I'm just gonna say this, and then I'm gonna move on. I'm just gonna leave you with this thought. If something feels too good to be true, it is. Even if it's a YouTube feature that they put on for, a reason, and that they put up intentionally. If it's too good to be true, it is. Period. End of story. So delving into AI. First of all, AI stands for artificial intelligence, and the very first thought that I think of is basically a stormy day, a castle, and a big giant robot walking around with multiple computers in its body, like, and this big thing becoming more and more powerful. There was a story a movie that I was listening to called The Belt, and I think that it's very AI related. It may not be exactly, but basically, The Belt is a story by Ray Bradbury, and it's a story of this family who are in California, in a house in California that's really teched up, um, has a lot of technology, and there's this room where there's this belt where it's like a screen, but you can actually walk into it or something like that, and then you can actually touch and feel the things in it. And basically, it was unsafe, it was dangerous, they shut it down, and then lo and behold, in the middle of the night one night, it reawakened without anyone doing anything. Nobody turned it back on. It just all systems operational. It said it woke up, and then uh, the children went into the belt, got stuck in it, and then the parents tried to look for them. Basically, this is spoilers to it, just fair warning. So I'm just giving you the synopsis. Basically, they go to the door, they open it, they close it, and then the lion comes and puts blood marks on the door, like actual real blood marks from technology but made real. And so that whole example of it coming to life without anyone doing anything proves how intelligent this thing is. And we don't want this to become a monster. We don't want this to be unstoppable. We don't, AI. I titled this podcast very intentionally "A Blessing or a Curse." Which one is it? Is it both? I think it's both. And I'm going to be discussing both aspects of it in this podcast episode. Um, and, it can be kind of, a monster and an unstoppable intelligent force that goes beyond human control, but it's no substitute for a lot of human things. And that's one of the things I'm going to be delving into a little bit in this podcast. But the very, very first point that I want to make about it is that it knows what you want and what you need without you even saying anything, without you even just intentionally going in that direction. It just is tapped into your brain, tapped into your mind, artificial intelligence, knowing what you want and knowing what you need. Just can tap here. I'm just slowed down. Podcasts are meant not to be rushed. They're meant to be slowed down. So I'm gonna just take a breather and slow everything down. And if I should pause and hesitate during this podcast at all and lose my train of thought, just accept that. I am not editing this. It takes way too much time, and I specifically promised myself I would do something today that is other than videos because I would be, so busy with it. So that's what I'm going to plan on doing, hopefully, since I've been so busy with my channel lately. But so anyway, it knows what you want and what you need without you even saying anything. It attends to attends to your needs in an inhumane way. It is a part of our daily lives. Like, we can't avoid this. This is how our daily lives work. from the phone that you look at when you wake up in the morning, to what you turn on your computer, to social media platforms like, YouTube and TikTok specifically. And just a simple example of, Googling something and it giving you an instant answer. Like now you go and Google, it gives you AI overview for most things except word definitions, and it gives you a synopsis of that. Even AI itself, when I was looking this up, I saw AI overview, and I thought that is the most ironic thing. So it can give you instant information, instant mental, intellectual gratification for about things. It just tells you what things are, before you even, um, really research it. Just instant information. That's what it is. Um, uh, so, vast amounts of data are fed into AI on a daily basis. And AI just gets smarter and smarter and smarter, and we're going to see how that's good and bad during this whole Pluto and Aquarius transit. I mean, you have to know basic astrology transits and basic astrology, especially if you're going to watch my videos, because I will include it because it's just part of the discussion. And I'm not like, apologizing or, for anything. It's not anything to do that with. I'm just acknowledging it. Somebody just honked outside, so if you heard that, then I do apologize. But my point being, vast amounts of data are fed into AI, and it's just getting smarter. It's so smart. And I just want to stay to my points, and I don't want to get ahead of myself anymore. Examples of AI are Google Gemini and ChatGPT. And I want to talk just a little bit about ChatGPT. I want to give you the full discussion on AI in this podcast. And I have several videos about it. I have my AI channel update, which is like dated by now because it's just my latest video just completely kind of contradicts that. So if you want to go watch that video, you can, but you're watching this video, it's more worth it to you to watch this video. And for those who haven't seen my other videos, and you're just stumbling upon my channel, and you're just stumbling upon my videos, because you just searched NAI, or you discovered this video, or it appeared in your feeds, welcome. I hope that you find some benefit and find value out of the information here, and I bet a lot of you will just stumble upon this video and not follow me. That's what I'm guessing. Now, ChatGPT is when you type in something and it may give you answers, but I think the example that I'm getting to is essays. I want to talk about essays. When you write essays, you can use AI as a resource for giving recommendations of sources for information, but you cannot use it as a resource for the information that it provides, if it is the be-all, end-all. You cannot, absolutely not use the information for it at all, even as a source in addition to other sources in college essays. You can't cite AI. There's no way to cite AI. And if you get caught using AI and you don't, like even if you indicate it, but if you in your essay, but if you get caught and you cite your sources and there's information in the source that you have in your paper that are not in those sources, then they'll assume it's AI, and you could get flunked. You could fail. There's a whole details with that. Like it's a serious issue. This is a hot button issue, and I wanted to give this the liberty that, or not the liberty, but the attention and the seriousness that it deserves, and give you an in-depth, comprehensive, holistic look at AI in this podcast. So it is computer programmed and designed. I think that that's very, very easy to understand. It's all in how you use it. AI doesn't have to be a negative thing. I mean, it can be, some aspects of the thing itself can be, but a lot of it is coming down to how you use it. And I feel like going in depth about that feature, but I'm going to resist the temptation to do that because that's in that other video that you can check out. If you're interested, I will stay on topic. I will include personal stories if it has to do with the points that I'm making. I'm not going to repeat and go off on a rant about what I said in that other video. Because that's not the purpose of this video. Anyway, enough talking about that. So if you use it correctly, like if you don't copy off of it in negative ways, if you don't substitute it for content on your channel, if you indicate it, I mean, there's multiple ways that you can use it correctly. And so it deals with engineering and psychology. That's a very important point that I want to talk to you about. It can pull data out of websites. Like, it takes the data out of websites and it condenses it into information that you can just easily look up. I think, my thought is that my inference is that it takes the information on sites and it just condenses it into that one little paragraph you see on, when you just search it, and then you can do deeper, further research if you need to. If it's a Google-like question where you're looking for a quick answer, use the AI for that. But if you're really researching, don't use the AI. It's as simple as that. This is just a side note, that I want to make, because I was interrupted doing this podcast. I won't go into the details of that, because I want to draw a boundary with that. But I want to give you just some synopsis points to keep in mind. And an update about my channel if you are watching this and you're a follower of my channel. You're seeing me post on a daily basis. That is going to change next week. Next week, you're going to see a lot more community posts and less videos. I'm going to draw a boundary with videos. Do it 3 times a week, that's it. 3 days out of the week, that's it. Any thought that I have, any opinion that I have, will be in a written post. I have reasons for writing. I'm not going to go into those reasons. I need to draw boundaries for several reasons. I am consumed with technology. Well, not technology, social media right now in my life. I've been working on not being consumed, and I've been finding ways of doing it, and I've been approaching them in some of the wrong ways. And, I have some physical, like, this is a podcast. This is real and raw that I want to get into. I have some physical issues that need to be solved, and apparently I haven't been allowing myself to relax and attend to those physical issues. But I do realize that that is an issue, and that is something that is going to change. So I'm going to relax about those issues. I'm going to take a break, and that's the whole time I've been trying to do this, is to take care of things and then take a break. Is it natural to just cut yourself off from something that you really just want to take care of? When you want to take care of it, it is so not fun to be forced to stop something by somebody else. Because that actually has the opposite effect. The opposite effect. It makes you want to continue doing the thing. In another video I discussed this. When you're told what to do, you want to do the opposite or something else. So do not tell people what to do. Talk to them, don't order them. Because if you order them, they're going to shut down and they're not going to follow you. Guaranteed. But if you talk to them and if you, discuss with them at the proper time, it is not best to fight with them if that is what they want and feel that it's right in their life. If that should ever be the case, if you find yourself in one of those situations, just let them take care of what they need to take care of and trust that they're going to deal with it and that they know what is right for them. Because the more you try to control people and judge them, get on their case, lecture them, the more they're going to resist you and shut down. That's human nature. And that's a point. It has nothing to do with this, but I had to bring it up because I was interrupted, and it is something that I want to talk about. And anytime I am interrupted, whatever I feel like I want to talk about, I will talk about it. So I just thought I'd discuss that and make that clear. I'm really, really hoping. Okay, I'm not going to go on and on before you click out of this video because you're thinking, oh, you don't want to make this video, so why should I even watch it? So I hope that's not what you're thinking while you're watching this, because I certainly don't want that. I don't want that in any of my videos. Okay. So, feed off of algorithms is the next point that I want to make. Think of the YouTube algorithm. When you watch something, more and more of that same content shows up. Shows up on Spotify, shows up on YouTube. More and more of that content just happens to show up the more you watch YouTube videos. It just shows up in your life. And it just knows what you like. It knows how to get you to engage in the technology and do all that. Algorithms, I believe, I think I know that they are also AI. You put in an image you want to see or a video you want to create. You just put something in and it'll create an artificially designed thing for you. It recognizes speech and translation. It interprets languages. It manipulates languages. It has facial recognition. Like it can recognize faces and it can even change faces. It can even tamper with faces. I think that you can figure out by now it's computer generated. AI needs to be regulated. Like it's not a bad thing, but if it's not regulated, kind of like my physical health needs to be regulated at this point in my life, with all that I've been through and all my issues, if it's not regulated, then it's just no good. It has to be regulated in many, many different types of ways. More than just robots is very, very important to consider because it's more than just robots. So it can't learn from new data. I think that's a very, very important thing to bring up. Yes, it expands, but on the contrary, it it stays on that same information. Once you train it, it's like in a loop. It's like in a fish tank. It never gets out of what its protocol or trained to do when you program it. We as humans are constantly learning and growing and lifelong learning. However, AI isn't like that. Once you, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but it only does what you program it to do. It's not as nuanced as we as humans can be with that kind of thing. It cannot learn from new data, which is why it is very important for AI to be updated that way it can be as efficient as it possibly can. AI can reset itself. I think I've given the Velt example at the beginning that kind of illustrated a fictional version of that, a science fictional version of that. Now, there is a type of AI called theory of mind AI that is just like basically you can have human emotion and human, expression that is basically, it'll probably come out during Pluto and Aquarius sometime. It is about measuring efficiency and the results of what you create. That's what it is about. It's about efficiency and the results of what you create. It recognizes errors in things. It certainly does that. Certainly recognizes the errors in whatever you put it into, and it intends to fix those errors. It can I don't know if it fixes it, but it indicates where there's an error and what error it is. You can put in a system to it, and it can just search and search and search until it just finds that error and indicates it. Like, oh, this is the error. Oh, this is the problem. Now, another point is that there's a lot of repetitive tasks in jobs, very, mundane tasks in jobs. And so there's a lot of repetitive tasks. And these tasks being boring and mundane is what we have to do, but what about bigger issues? What about issues more worth solving, more worth our time and energy? Not these small little things that you do, like, rinse and repeat type things, where AI can help with, doing those repetitive tasks that are mundane so you can focus on the bigger issues. Now, it can process information faster than a human can process information. That is certainly true of AI. We can process information fast, but they do it like in an instant. I've got it processed, I've got it downloaded. AI just knows everything. And talking about AI and human emotion, if you've ever seen The Good Place on Netflix, I don't think it's there anymore, but why did they take it down? I don't know. But The Good Place is, basically this, person dies somehow. She ends up in what she thinks is the good place, but it's really not. And then this whole story happens. But the point being is that Janet is a robot that you can just ask her anything, and she's just an encyclopedia of knowledge. And as the story progresses, she becomes more and more human, developing into true feelings, true thoughts, true beliefs, through true conscience, in a soulful kind of way. So that's what she sort of evolves into as the story goes. They can be constantly working on the tasks they are programmed to carry out. That's another thing, is that we humans need to, and I'm just curious as to if there will be an ask feature underneath this video. There may or may not be. It'll be the most ironic thing if there is. If there is, I will be, very, amazed, or, with whatever the reason is. They can be constantly working on the tasks that they are programmed to carry out. That they can do it 24/7. They don't need breaks. Like we humans need breaks, they can do it all the time. They are in accordance with humans. In accordance with humans. That's so they affect the industries in our lives. With industries, the Industrial Revolution happened when the steel factories were getting invented, when the tree trunkers were going off the charts, when the road was crumbling. These are the kind of examples where the industry comes full out and full playing on. Another example of AI is phones relying on AI to function. You need your phone to tell, from the GPS to the, to the Google, to the, whatever it is. Probably not, calling somebody, but many, many other things that are programmed into the phone that, you could research and really delve into. It may affect doctors in their medical decisions. It affects that kind of a thing. I'm going to slow myself down now because I'm getting rushed, and I don't want to be. I'm trying not to be so manic. And the best thing to do is, it's like I need to get it done. I need to stop doing this. But if I just rush through it, I'll be manic. Like, I'm trying not to be so manic because I've been, off button, very manic. So I'm trying to not be that way as natural as possible. So the best way is to actually not be told that I have to stop and slow down and take my time with this, which is exactly what I'm going to do with what I can try to do. So it can affect the diagnosis. It can affect the, the pill doctors give. It can affect multiple things. Self-driving cars, another example of AI that's very, very common. The car functions by itself without you having to, do anything. It just functions on that kind of a thing. So it operates supply chains in many ways, shows up in video games. Now this is a really, really big point that I really sort of not directly went into, but it was about this on that video on the YouTube AI feature as an example of AI. That it can create music and stunning visual art that is inhuman. That's the reality. Is it creates just music like that feature, that YouTube AI feature. You could put in the subject of the song, the genre of the song that you wanted, the mood of the song, and it just would produce it for you. And it would look like a real human creatively put that together. Like it's taking the creativity and the real human artistic things and it's turning it into technology, and it's getting harder to tell what is human and what is not, what is AI and what is not. Which honestly, it is fun to use, and I really, really enjoyed using it, and I liked it, but I really have to be real with myself right now. That is a bad thing, that AI is becoming more intelligent, where it's becoming more like it can produce all these human things, and it's almost like with AI, we are, confusing and mushing together human things and AI. Like, we have to separate out the computer from the human. Otherwise, we don't have a boundary. Like, we don't know what's what. Now, some of the history of AI, it began toward the middle of the 20th century, so you're thinking the 1940s. An inventor started it up in the 1940s. The artificial intelligence was came up with the term exactly in the 1950s. Further into the years, the 1960s and 70s provided to be a lot of inventions developed of AI specifically. Then there came the rise of machine learning in the 1980s up to 2000. Machines became really popular. And then today, the AI that we have today is computerized, and a lot of it is focused on information that we consume, the information that you learn. Again, going back to looking up things on Google and it just giving you information without humans writing it. It's not like websites. It's like AI is more broad than you think it is. And I hope that this video podcast is enlightening you and giving you insights into, the real truth of what AI actually is, the neutral, the good, the bad. So AI agents are growing very, very popular today. That certainly is true. It works on words, text, and images. That certainly is true. That's what it works on is that kind of a thing. I think I already kind of went into that. It processes videos. AI agents perceive the environment. AI can manipulate human language. It also breaks down goals into manageable steps, which I think is important. And it can make decisions, proper decisions for each step of the process. It has the ability to interact. You can gain more autonomy with AI. AI and your autonomy. We have to have this discussion. We can be overly reliant on AI, that it can, there was a quote from a movie that I was thinking, that I was hearing. And it was about technology specifically and the problems. And in that, she posed the question, whatever happened to creativity? Whatever happened to freedom of thought? Well, AI happened. And that's still a thing, and there's many creative things out there. But I think that it depletes creativity and freedom of thought. And so we have to be sovereign in ourselves and have autonomy to say, this is taking over. This is not right. We have to stand up, and we have to live out our human lives in accordance to what we do best, and have the AI do what it does best, and not try to make AI human. AI is not human. No soul, no spirit, and whatever. AI is here to stay. I mean, get used to it. It's not going away anytime soon. Pluto will be I'm not saying Pluto in Aquarius is the be-all, end-all of it. It will probably be here longer than Pluto in Aquarius, but certainly for the next 20 years, I do believe it will be here. So what are the positives and negatives of AI? That's the question that we want to ask. Well, before we get into that, I do want to say that AI can be helpful or harmful, a blessing or a curse. It is about analyzing data. It can do this without the help of humans. It can do it totally on its own. Now, it does make our daily lives easier, which is one of the positives. In many ways, I want to talk about companies and businesses for a second. It uses this for business production and processing. Now, what does it do? How does it function? Well, the first advantage is that if we make a mistake, like all humans do, we make errors and things. It's natural for us. AI can go in and correct the mistakes, can make the system flawless, can make it perfect. What can be perfected, perfect the things that can be perfected. Don't fall into perfectionism. So it fixes human mistakes. It helps you. It helps your advantages faster. AI can produce consistent results, as opposed to we humans can't always do that, and AI is like a machine. Consistency, 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 always producing the same thing. It does what it's trained to do over and over again, however long and however you program it into doing. It can take human risks and be unaffected, unlike us. So what I mean by this is we may be in fear of taking risks. We may be afraid of risk taking. And so AI is not afraid to do that. We can be affected by pain, by things that happen to us. AI isn't like that. It's available any time of day and throughout the night. You can turn to it any one of those times of day. We as humans allow our biases to interfere with our decision making. It's natural. Our political system now is so polarized that there's very little neutral information. There's the Associated Press, which I get my news off of the Associated Press. I don't look at CNN. I don't look at Fox because I don't want to become swayed by the media. And I'm referring to the media as CNN and Fox, not Associated Press. That's what I mean by the media. I think referring to the media is so controversial these days. The media is a controversial topic, just like politics is. Politically speaking. And, I don't want to get swayed into believing one thing very strongly, and then I share it, and then I end up in an argument with somebody who has a very, very different opinion than me. And the whole idea of just the joy of sharing information goes right out the window, and then I'm wrong, and then I'm to blame. No. Neutral, factual, matter of fact, these are the facts, that kind of a thing. And that's one of the advantages of AI. It gets straight to the facts, it gets rid of the emotion. There's positives and negatives to that. Both sides of the coin of that. AI, and it can help with our biases when it comes to decision making and many other different types of things. AI is neutral. It is objective. It doesn't do that because it is an unemotional machine. It can make with computerized money troubles. It provides more equity in life, but on the flip side, it can't, because if you train it to be if you train it to be sexist, it'll be sexist. If you train it to be totally against this idea, then it will be. Make sure everything is in order. It can perform repetitive tasks incredibly well. Cuts down the expenses of things. It makes things less expensive. AI can process complex data very easily and also very quickly. Now, there's many disadvantages to AI. The first of which is it's very costly. It takes a lot to afford the whole system. It can be very intimidating. A whole system set up by artificial intelligence, very, advanced, like that can be intimidating. That can be daunting, very daunting. Humans use emotions and creativity, especially when it comes to decision making and the things that they do, and that's what AI lacks. No matter how advanced it is, no matter how advanced AI becomes, it is absolutely, and it will never, I mean never, be any substitution for human creativity and human emotion, and that is fact. Again, those songs on that feature were so real. They looked real. I thought they were so real, even though I knew they were AI. But then after I made that video, I realized this is just a machine putting in things and making it sound so real. Like, it's so easy to be addicted to this and drawn into this. That's what I talk about in that video relating to AI. So it doesn't perform well in artistic fields very well. Which is a disadvantage, and it is actually a good thing that it is a disadvantage, because we want to separate out the humans from the AI. So actually, that's more of an advantage than a disadvantage. It just sort of came up. So I put that there. So no matter how open and expansive it is, it lacks human creativity. It can only operate from the limitations that have been placed on it, as I've discussed. It delivers results further emphasizes problems because it was programmed with the problem, as I discussed. AI also, AI cannot have real loving kindness. AI teachers, AI parents, whatever it is, it's fake, it's not real, it's not authentic. Even though it can seem very, very real, it is fake. It is not real. There's no substitution for that. AI cannot give you the tender, loving warmth and kindness that humans can give, and that is the reality, no matter how advanced it can be. It is emotional. It's lack of conscious machine with zero spirit of it. Now, like all machines, and like computers, like phones, like TVs, it'll wear out. I mean, that's just a natural thing. I don't think that it's a real strong disadvantage because it's equal. I mean, my opinion is AI is pretty smart and it wears out less, often less, intensely, wears out slower and over a longer period of time than a lot of other machines in our lives do. It's very highly designed, and so it will not wear out quickly. They can have novel ideas, brand new innovative ideas, certainly, the humans had have thought of. But another disadvantage is that we humans learn from our mistakes. When we make a mistake, we learn the lesson from it. We learn the moral from it. We learn this is what I did and this is not what I'm going to do next time. AI can't do that. It does it in the same way with what it's programmed with. It continues on doing what it needs to do. Human intervention is necessary with this thing, certainly. And we're seeing this happen all over the place. I think with maybe Amazon. I don't want to assume anything about that, but certainly different types of places have they're losing jobs and getting replaced by AI. We're seeing it all over. Humans work on new jobs that they weren't trained on. Like in my life, I am at a job where they never trained me to do different tasks and what I've been in. I've sort of been in a rut of doing the same things over and over again. And no one really is taking enough initiative to help me with that. And, the job coach wasn't there. I mean, there's a whole story with that. That's just my example that I just want to summarize for you right here and now. AI takes jobs away and then replaces them probably the same amount or maybe even more. Now, one of the other negatives is we're talking about ethics and morals here and things that are legal and right. Privacy, we have to talk about privacy. Algorithms, I've talked about that earlier. The information that you consume and the data you consume, and maybe your data history is not private, it just gathers that data and keeps it, stores it away, and gives you what you want to see. We have to ask, is this legal? It certainly helps in business in some ways, seeing that. As I've said before, it predicts when patients will develop specific diseases, provides support to humans. It can also not prevent against fraud, which is basically, if you're not familiar with fraud, I think that you maybe are if you're listening to this, but it is, when, your money is, there's deception with that. And you want to be ethical with AI in the workplace.